He's been the one that's been behind the scenes, progressing this movement, and he's stuck with it. He's been through some difficult times, and he's had to put up with a lot of personal attacks on our Facebook site from time to time. And I would just like to say, it's a pleasure knowing you, Les, and so for everybody there. Well, anyway, this is an improvement, speaking off the back of a fire engine. I can remember speaking off, yes, my first public speech was off the back of a coal lorry, a low loader, in '84, so this has got to be better than that. But whose idea was it to hold this event next to the courts? Somebody having a laugh? Anyway, it's good that you made this today.
One, two.
Yeah, good to see you all here today, and I'm sure there'll be many more people come up to our rally in the course of the afternoon. And we've got some good speakers lined up for you. Tosh McDonald from Asla, good friend of ours. We do have a special guest speaker later on in the afternoon, but we can't reveal who that is at the moment. But so for now, you're stuck with me, and I just want to say it's a pleasure being part of this group and fighting alongside you for the past year and a half.
I might start, please, on a rather somber note. Today, I'd like to commemorate this meeting of ours to two long-lost friends of ours. One in particular, a very great asset to us that we lost, Archie Patton. And the other one, unfortunately, at this exact time, his funeral is taking place at Jim Buckley. So I'd like to dedicate, please, this day to them two people. All right? Now, it's no good me going over the ground that Mick has already gone through, because I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt for 22 years. The last 16 years, I've been at it non-stop. And I actually lost it for some time until Les picked me up again with the association site. Now, you would have thought after 22 years that I would have seen it all. No, I haven't. I haven't seen it all. Because thanks to Peter Stefanovic, it prompted me to find a lost asset and liability study that was commissioned in 2003 by the British Coal Staff Scheme. Now, at that time, I was only aware of one particular page, and this page contained the figures: 15% for the government and 85% for the pensioners. So that figure, them figures stuck in my mind. I wanted to find out why this had not been implemented. And the reason given for that was the stocks and shares had fallen, and because of the rules of the two schemes, they could not commit the trustees to implement this. So thanks to Peter, I went on a search throughout the United Kingdom, and you believe me, the doors that was closed, the walls that I've had to breach, you have no idea. Every Freedom of Information Act that I've applied to has refused this asset and liability study. Even the trustees of the scheme have said this asset and liability study was commissioned by the trustees, for the trustees, and only for the eyes of the trustees. And when you read the full report, you know why. Finally, a fortnight ago, thereabouts, I managed to get this full and accurate study. Now, as I've said, I've been there and done it. And I thought I'd seen everything and all the pain that had been applied to us. I thought there could be no more. But there is more. And it's in this report. And this report will culminate, I think, in us taking the United Kingdom government into the law courts and our trustees for negligent, and our trustees in particular, for negligent and fiduciary duties. Now let me just explain that to you. In 2003, we took a delegation up to Sheffield and we met with the then Chief Executive, David Morgan, the MPS Secretary, Karen Coupland, and the British Coal Secretary, John Hay. And we asked them why this 15%, 85% had not been applied. It was there in black and white. And they said, because of a fall in the stock market of worldwide shares.
22 years ago, we all know that Thatcher's Tory government put in place the plan to destroy the coal mine industry and the mining communities. What we weren't aware of at the time was just how significant the plan that they'd got to try and rob us pensions was. By closing the schemes, the government getting the guarantee and getting the 50% of the surpluses, we knew it was going to make some money, and we've never asked for anything for nothing. We knew that the government guarantee to some of our pensioners is important, to know that their pensions that they've paid for decades is secure and they're going to be there until the day that they die. We expected there would be a price to pay for that. In 1996, the government produced their own report to cover Thatcher's back because she was under allegations that she'd sold the coal industry cheap to Richard Budge because he managed to pay it back a lot quicker than what they'd expected. As part of that report, it detailed that the guarantee for the government of the Mineworkers Pension Scheme was a good deal for government because it could expect to make £2 billion profit from the Mineworkers Pension Scheme over the life of the scheme. As we sit here today, stand here today in the rain, they've made over £8 billion. When we were fighting last year for state aid for the coal industry, we were turned down because it wasn't a value for money for the British taxpayer to put £350 million into saving the last 3 big mines. The question I've got to the government is it value for money for the MPS pensioners to have paid £8 billion for a guarantee that up to now has not cost a penny? And even if you look at the financial crisis that went through in 2008, they still not put any money in. What kind of situation will we need to be in for the government to start to put some money back? And they'll never pay the £8 billion back, no matter how bad things get. We are being ripped off. As a mining industry, we're used to being tranched on. But it's time we stand together from all sides of it. This is an injustice that needs to be fought.
You don't really want a history lesson. But unfortunately, we do need a history lesson. In some respects, basically because a lot of people who's been made aware of what's been going on since 1987 aren't aware of what we've gone through. Also, there's some people who take to the media and criticise because they're not aware of the difficulties that surrounds this subject. MPs have submitted early day motions, parliamentary questions. The Coalfield Community Campaign have submitted about 16 different reports. And they're also the same as what the previous speakers have said. They've ripped us off. That's what they've done, they've ripped us off. But it depends on which minister you talk to, on what answer you're going to get. Tom's made a point there, Chris has made a point, Andrea Ledson made a point to Graham Morris in 2016, which is early this year in June. But basically, they hid behind
The reason why there was a disparity between the £2 billion they were supposed to take from the audit department's report and the £8 billion that we know that they've taken is because it was based on the possibility that they might have to pay something out. Now, if I say something here to you, you can quite easily shout back at me and say, no, that's not right, which is right. Unfortunately, when you get it positive varieties down at Westminster, as Dennis called it, you have to ask one question. That's it. Or you can make a point. Or you can make several points if you like. But the minister stands there, says what he or she wants to say, and that's it. You've had...
You hear that all right? You hear that? Well, first of all, I want to say what a terrific honour it is to be obviously among friends, comrades, fellow pit yackers, and one of the most vital campaigns we've had taken part in. It inspires us, it also baffles us, which I'll come to. Of all of the injustices that we've faced as a community and as a union and as a people, this one is the most blatant and vulgar and barefaced. And it's one that the rulers, our rulers, have left themselves most exposed on. It's laid dormant and festering since 1994. Now that's not to say that nobody's done out about it. Tom Christopher's been mentioned, and I also have to say that Chris worked his butt off for years trying to get a national petition going on the subject. In fact, one of the frequent times he's got ratty with us, which is unusual for him, was he didn't think I'd done enough to help in that last campaign. He was probably right. So people did try to do things. How did we get to the situation that we're in now? Really gone back to 1994, when the world as we knew it was collapsing, and when the scheme was devised. The legs and the backbone of the industry had been smashed, and the industry was being dissected, and the coal owners, who we thought we'd got rid of 40 years before and stuck a stake through their hearts so they'd never come back again, came back and took over the industry such as it was. Men were not so much taken to the lifeboats as kicking the bottom out of the ship in order to get what they craved, their redundancy. Union attempts to man the last barricades were swept aside by men with pound signs in their eyes. So let's say at the same time the union was riven by internecine warfare. So few eyes were actually on the ball and on the game as far as redundancy, as far as pensions were concerned. We were being quietly shafted and raped by crooks wearing suits and cricket blazers, and by people who wouldn't know what justice meant if they got smacked over the head with a frying pan.
And most of them what did fell asleep, because it's not a very interesting subject, especially when you're a young guy in your 20s. But as I've moved on, I now sit as a trustee of the Northern Rail Pension Scheme, worth billions. I'm also a trustee of the ASLEF Pension Scheme, where our members of staff are in a good pension scheme and we look after them. And when there's been deficits there, we have put our members' money in there to make sure the staff who look after us have a good pension. And that's the way it should be. But you know, in the early 80s, the Thatcher government, and I never liked her, and I know Dave said this is no place for hatred, but I hated Margaret Thatcher. Hated her. And I still hate her today. And you probably heard me say, I used to set my alarm clock an hour earlier than I needed, just so I could hate her for an hour longer. But one of the things that she did was she introduced legislation that occupational pension schemes couldn't keep the surpluses. They had to spend it. There's only two ways they could spend it: in pensions holidays or in increased benefits. And the fear was that people like us, working people, if we got organised and went to where we had investments in our pension schemes and voted the right way, despite all the attacks she made on trade unions and workers. We could have changed the economy. They were frightened of people like me, people like Scargill at the time, having an influence on such big amounts of money that we could control how the markets went. Now, sadly, we never got that organised, but maybe we should still be looking at that.